weekend, defying construction trends. If new homes are missing in the housing recovery, you won't find slow growth here. Plus, why one of the worst winters on record hasn't left us yet.
All that snow came in on top of them, kept them nice and insulated, and they're all out right now looking for something to feed on.
But first, the busiest they've been in years.
This week has been absolutely fun, crazy, stressful, all of it in one.
12 News Weekend starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. On this Memorial Day weekend, you may have noticed more people pulling boats out of town.
But it hasn't always been that way. The recession that pretty much sunk the boat business now shows signs of recovery.
Now we finally have blue sky, white puffy clouds, and 70-degree weather. I think the lakes are going to be busy this weekend.
After a winter that packed quite a wallop.
The weather did make a difference. I'm glad I'm out here today.
There's no better sight than a beautiful day on the lake.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And what better way to take it all in but by boat?
Actually, my motor rebuilt, so I had to run the boat a little bit today. But it was a nice day to do this, not crowded, not too many waves.
Everyone wants a boat right now.
Whether people are buying for the first time or trading one in, right now the boat business is a busy one.
Back in 2007, 8, 9, when the housing market crashed, our business did. And now steadily we are seeing an increase in business. We're washing boats in one bay, they're rigging boats in another, getting them ready for customers to go out.
Sorensen says the sales floor usually has upwards of 70 boats. Right now they have 55. Increased demand means it's tough to keep the sales floor full.
This week has been absolutely fun, crazy, stressful, all of it in one.
Behind the scenes at Rapid Marine, it's also been busy.
He's putting batteries in it, trolling motor, depth finders, and then he's going to run it up, and then we'll clean it, and this will go out sometime later today or early tomorrow morning.
A quick turnaround for mechanics as they get the boats out of storage and ready to go.
Our season really kicked off opening week. People wanting their boats, weather finally turning. We do new, used, and storage, so kind of the perfect storm happened when the weather changed. Everyone wanted their boat.
Managers expect to stay busy until July, hoping that as the weather turns hot, business will keep sizzling too.
We finally got blue sky, white puffy clouds, and 70-degree weather. We want to be on that water.
Another factor that may be driving business is the cost of boats. Manufacturers want to reach more people, so they are now producing more boats at lower price points.
Here's another sign of a rosier economic picture. A regional economist told a crowd in Maple Grove that he expects future job growth. Toby Madden with the Minneapolis Federal Reserve based his expectations off Fed statistical models. He says the United States and Minnesota should expect to see job gains, increased output, and relatively stable prices through the end of the year.
Yeah, relatively good news. Some people would like to grow a lot faster because there's still a lot of people that are long-term unemployed that would like to get jobs. And if the economy was growing a little bit faster, they're more likely they'd be hired.
Minnesota's income level and unemployment rate fare better than the rest of the nation. Madden attributes that to a good healthcare system and an educated workforce.
A housing boom in northwest Plymouth shows no sign of slowing down. Last spring, the city approved plans for about 400 new homes. This week, the Planning Commission looked at plans for more than 300 more. Since 2009, the area in northwest Plymouth has been the last section of the city open for development.
Primarily, they will be larger single-family homes. That's what we've been seeing in the last few years. And I think most of them, some of them I think are maybe planning out a little bit further, but others you'll start seeing right away. So I think people in the area can expect to see a lot of construction activity.
Here's a look at projects in the works. Lanier Corporation plans to build 25 homes in a development called Brockton East. Meanwhile, Pulte Homes has two large developments. One plan, called Enclave on the Greenway, consists of 128 single-family homes near Troy Lane. The other calls for 139 homes north of the Plymouth Gun Club in a development named Aspen Hollow. Finally, there's a plan for 27 homes off of Vicksburg Lane. The Plymouth Preserve proposal calls for luxury homes in the $600,000 to $900,000 range.
Maple Grove is getting a shot of new medical development. The City Council approved plans by Park Nicollet to build a new outpatient center. Park Nicollet calls it a regional hub of services for the Northwest Metro. The new facility would house a primary care clinic, urgent care, and specialty services such as TRIA orthopedics. It would be located next to the existing Park Nicollet Clinic, which will eventually be converted into an ambulatory surgery center. Construction on the new facility will begin in late August and open in late 2015.
In our weekend review, dozens of car thefts along West Metro highways are traced to a St. Paul man. James Jennings is accused of using a flatbed tow truck to steal cars that had broken down or just run out of gas. Some of the thefts occurred in Brooklyn Park, Plymouth, and Robbinsdale. Coon Rapids police say they caught Jennings in the act trying to steal one of the police department's bait cars. The criminal complaint says Jennings sold 143 vehicles to a metal salvage company in Anoka this year alone. Robbinsdale's former police chief has pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor prostitution charge. Steve Smith was arrested last February during a prostitution sting. He resigned from his police chief job a month later. Smith was sentenced to supervised probation for 1 year and must complete a prostitution offender program. And the Robbinsdale School Board approved putting 2 levy requests before the voters this fall. One of the levies would raise more than $3 million a year for classroom technology. District 281 is also asking voters to renew an operating levy. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, we all want to think summer, but something left over from winter is causing problems.
Yeah, we'll show you what that is next. Then later in sports, Maple Grove takes on Mounds in a matchup of 2 of the state's top boys tennis teams.
But first, it's turning hot and feeling more like summer. A run of 80-degree weather is in store.
Two, one, throw.
Consider it a sign of the growing market for commercial properties. Construction is underway on the former Knox lumber site along West Broadway Avenue in Brooklyn Park. 2 buildings are going up. One will house up to 3 businesses. The other will be a Goodwill-Easter seals distribution and donation center, plus outlet store.
It's got easy access from the highway, but we also needed something that had a little bit of a retail flavor to it for the outlet. So this is like right down the street from retail. It's going to be very visible, easy access. Those are the pieces we looked at.
Goodwill-Easter Seals brings more than 50 new jobs to Brooklyn Park. The buildings open up early next year. With warmer weather this Memorial Day weekend, you may be itching to get out and explore nature.
Exploring the wild, though, also comes with a warning. State health officials say this is a peak season for ticks. In the not-too-distant past, Minnesotans were forced to deal with one of the worst winters on record. Yet while winter may be gone, it's not forgotten. Turns out the deep snow created the perfect environment for ticks.
Ticks live on the forest floor, so all that snow came in on top of them, kept them nice and insulated, and they're all out right now looking for something to feed on.
That includes humans.
We have the big holiday weekend coming up, and if we have nice weather, it brings the ticks out and it also brings the people out.
Department of Health officials say the highest risk for tick exposure is from mid-May to mid-July, which is why they're urging people to be cautious.
Ticks are important to worry about because unfortunately they're very abundant in Minnesota, and one of the species in particular, the black-legged tick, what used to be called the deer tick, can transmit several different diseases to people.
Last year, Minnesota saw a record number of more than 1,400 Lyme disease cases. That's up from 912 in 2012.
Well, you can't avoid them if you're going to be outside.
Dr. Jim Welters of Northwest Family Physicians in Crystal says avoiding ticks is especially difficult if you plan to travel to northern Minnesota.
It generally misses the Twin Cities area, except for the northern suburbs. And St. Cloud, but there's actually a sort of a band you can draw that just goes across the middle of the state.
Experts from the health department say people need to be careful in wooded and brushy areas, which is where ticks live. One key way to reduce the risk of tick-borne disease is by applying DEET-based insect repellents to clothing or skin.
These are diseases that are out there, and for people that spend time in woods and brush where the ticks live, it's good to be aware of them.
Experts say this is also the time of year when you should perform daily tick checks, especially if you've been out in wooded areas. So you can't win. It's either all that snow and cold or warmth and ticks.
I know, we need to watch out.
Yes, indeed. Well, coming up, a New Hope woman honored for her work on the job.
But first, boys golfers in the Northwest Suburban Conference compete at the conference tournament. That's coming up in sports with John Jacobson.
I'm John Jacobson with your weekend sports. Maple Grove's boys tennis team beat Mounds the past 2 seasons in the Section 5AA final. The Crimson and Mustangs met up again for a spot in the state tournament this week. Number 1 singles, Zach Atkins for Maple Grove, CJ Lloyd for Mounds View. Atkins backhand deep in the corner gets him the point. Later, Lloyd comes hard on the serve and volley, but a perfect lob shot by Atkins, and he wins the match in straight sets. 2 singles, Charlie Atkins serving for Maple Grove. It's a nice backhand, but it's an even better counter by Hunter Krebsbach for the point, and he wins the match. 3 singles, Sam Hochberger for Maple Grove, Jake Tronson for Mounds View. Tronson gets the volley winner, and he's in control early. Hochberger fights back, though, and plays a really strong match. A backhand winner here, but he ultimately falls in this match at 3 singles. Number 4 singles, Rory Calabria working the serve and volley, sets up the smash winner for the Crimson point. Then Calabria will take the short ball for a nice approach shot and a big volley winner, but he does lose his match as well. Mustangs sweep all 3 doubles matches at 3 doubles. Andrew Tang's volley winner on match point locks up the section title for Mounds View. They beat the Crimson 6-1. Whitezetta won the 6AA title, beating Edina 5-2. Perfect weather greeted golfers at the now suddenly very green golf courses for conference play. Dayton Federle of Osseo teeing off at the Northwest Suburban Conference Boys Tournament. He ties for medalist honors with a 74. Armstrong's Jake Delaney with a great approach shot on the west hole number 2 at Bunker Hills. Delaney drops it within a couple feet of the cup. Goes on to birdie the hole and cards a 75. Osseo's J.J. Svak on target for a par putt on that same hole. He cards a 76 for the Orioles. On East number 1, Nick Adams with Maple Grove lines it up and sinks the par putt from about 8 feet on his way to a 78 for the day for the Crimson. Andrew Chan tees off on par 3 West number 8 for Park Center. Chan's having a strong season. He puts this one on the green. He 2 putts from there to par the hole, and Chan shoots a 77 and earns all conference honors. Playing in the same group, Anson Kuznick of Champlain Park knocks down a 10-footer for par. Blaine wins the event by 4 strokes with Andover second. Locally, Osseo is 4th, Armstrong 5th, Maple Grove ties for 6th. Champlain Park is 9th, and Park Center 10th. Armstrong's boys lacrosse team has suffered 3 one-goal losses this spring. The Falcons met a Maple Grove team Wednesday that had won 7 of its past 8 games. This one's tied 1-1 in the second quarter when Armstrong's Jonah Borwick skips a shot that goes off of the defender and in for a goal. It's 2-1 Falcons. Maple Grove's Jake Wilson is having a great season. He fights off a defender here, and his high shot is into the Falcons' net, tying the game at 2. Less than 30 seconds later, Wilson passes to Hunter House, who turns and scores. Maple Grove nets 3 goals in the final 70 seconds of the first half, and they take a 4-2 lead. Jonah Borwick becomes Armstrong's all-time leading scorer in this game, netting 5 points, including an assist on Elliot Olson's goal there that made it 5-5. Midway through the fourth quarter, Olson then scores the game winner. Armstrong wins the 1-goal game for a change. They beat rival Maple Grove 7-6. In Section 5 3A softball, 6-seed Park Center had a home game in the first round. The Pirates taking on number 11 seed Blaine. It's a pitcher's duel early. Jillian Rosby gets the strikeout for the Pirates, and it's 0-0 through 4 innings. In the 5th, Rosby bounces to short. Amelia Luco's throw to first is low, allowing Emily Nelson to score the first run of the game for the Pirates, and Rosby ends up on second base. Mallory Stone answers in a big way for Blaine. She drills this high pitch from Rosby deep for a solo home run, and the Bengals down to their last 4 outs, tied up 1-1 in the 6th. Steve Erickson's Pirates come right back. Shaylee Martinson lifts a fly ball to medium deep center. Miranda Jellison makes a very late tag at third, but still scores on the sacrifice fly in the 6th inning, and Park Center wins 2-1. Still ahead, a New Hope woman who's being called a trailblazer. See how Jacqi Hall helped pave the way for others when we come back.
A New Hope woman is being called a trailblazer in helping people with disabilities find employment.
Jacqi Hall has had a big impact on those she works with at Christopher & Banks in Plymouth. As Carissa Wyant reports, she's also inspiring others to see people with disabilities in a new light.
Jacqi Hall loves what she does, and her boss has taken note.
Jacqi is a joy to be around. So when she walks in the morning, she has a big smile on her face. She's happy to be here. She greets everybody with a big smile.
Jacqi was born with a developmental challenge, a challenge that hasn't always been easy.
When I was in high school, people would make fun of me, and it made me feel bad.
That didn't discourage her, though. For the last 15 years, she has worked different tasks at the Plymouth distribution center of women's clothing company Christopher & Banks.
I think the people we support really make differences to all the employers they work with.
Nonprofit Lifeworks specializes in helping people like Jacqi to find jobs.
A lot of times people are kind of pigeonholed, oh, you have a disability, so you can do this, but you can't do that. And so finding jobs can kind of be difficult at times.
At Christopher & Banks, Jacqi helped pave the way for nearly 100 other people with disabilities hired at the company.
Jacqi enlightened us to be able to use folks from Lifeworks and Lifeworks clients in a distribution center. 97 associates have, Lifeworks clients have come through here in different capacities.
Because of her work in help paving the way for others at Christopher & Banks, Hall was recently recognized with a Personal Achievement Award from Lifeworks. Jacqi's job allows her to afford her own apartment. She's proud of all she's accomplished and has lots of hobbies outside of work.
I've been studying martial arts, music, and I'm planning on taking up sewing.
Her boss says she hasn't just broken a barrier.
She's broken the door wide open, frankly.
In Plymouth, Carissa Wyant, 12 News.
In her spare time, Jacqi has earned a black belt in karate, takes voice and guitar lessons at McPhail in Minneapolis, and is studying for the SAT exam because she wants to study music at the college level. Go, Jacqi, go. What an inspirational story.
I know she does quite a bit, and she doesn't do anything halfway.
No, she
That's
doesn't.
That's a good thing, and her bosses appreciate her, and they know that.
That's something that we can all learn from.
I know, definitely.
Well, that's all the news for now. Thanks for joining us.
Have a nice weekend. We'll see you right back here next week.